The psychiatrists specifically, they're just kind of working as sales agents for the pharmaceutical companies.
There's nothing like another doctor touting the benefits of your drug to drive market share.
They're an extended part of the marketing arm of these companies.
Medications play a primary role.
We give drugs.
Medication is a must.
There's a lot of new medications.
There are medications available for treating GAD.
Medications to use for PTSD.
Antipsychotic medications.
Atypical antipsychotics.
Benzodiazepines.
Stimulants.
Antidepressant medications.
MAOIs. Amphetamines.
Anticonvulsant medications.
Once the medications have been balanced out,
then we move on to a combination of 3 medicines. There's no absolute limit that is set for the number of medications.
There are so many choices.
Apparently, we're willing to try almost anything.
Les psychotropes ne peuvent pas être vendus sans ordonnance. C'est pourquoi les firmes pharmaceutiques embauchent des psychiatres pour promouvoir les psychotropes dans le milieu psychiatrique et médical. Le chemin vers le profit commence dans les écoles médicales les plus prestigieuses au monde, précisément dans les bureaux des professeurs de psychiatrie les plus réputés. Grâce à leur caution, les firmes pharmaceutiques gagnent des milliards en vendant des psychotropes.
There are a lot of academic psychiatrists especially who have ties to 10 or 15 or 20 different pharmaceutical companies, and so they're making a very large amount of money.
Whether they're professors or whether they work at big, medical institutions, those drug companies will make sure that they've got them on the payroll somehow.
They'll have this person feed this information to their other peers, but it's all being motivated through monies being funded by pharmaceutical companies.
About 40% of the early stage marketing dollars for pharmaceutical companies go straight to these thought leaders, psychiatrists.
Ces accords financiers conclus avec de prétendus leaders d'opinion clés sont très lucratifs. Un professeur en psychiatrie réputé peut recevoir plus d'1 demi-million de dollars par an de la part des firmes pharmaceutiques.
These people are still considered the stars of their medical centers because they bring in all this great money from the pharmaceutical companies, and that helps keep the coffers of the medical center full.
Universities receive a lot of money from the pharmaceutical industry. Drug companies are building buildings right next to the medical school. They're funding research right and left.
The University of Michigan Depression Center received, I think it was $750,000 from Eli Lilly, and all they do down there is crank out this biological view of psychiatry and mental illness and depression.
Comme les professeurs en psychiatrie reçoivent des millions de la part des firmes pharmaceutiques pour les universités, il n'est pas surprenant que leur programme d'études soit axé sur les psychotropes.
Training programs in psychiatry, the majority of them now are drugs first. You're really a psychopharmacologist in a way when you come out of a psych residency training program.
Even when I went to medical school, psychiatrists did talk to patients. Now all they do is write a prescription and send them away.
A psychiatrist is trained for one purpose, to administer psychiatric drugs.
Les professeurs en psychiatrie ne se contentent pas d'endoctriner les étudiants en psychiatrie et en médecine. Ils vantent aussi les vertus des psychotropes à leurs confrères. D'abord, en réalisant des essais cliniques que l'on fait passer comme objectifs et qui promeuvent à la fois un nouveau trouble psychiatrique inventé et le psychotrope censé le guérir. Ces recherches sont diffusées dans des revues spécialisées destinées à leurs confrères et on en fait mention dans les médias. Mais les lecteurs ne savent pas qu'environ 50% de ces psychiatres n'ont jamais participé à ces recherches.
One of the most unethical practices we're aware of is ghostwriting of journal articles, where somebody at the pharmaceutical company will write the paper and the academic physician will put his name on it and get it published in a major journal when he maybe changed 3 or 4 words in the whole article, and the article was basically written as a marketing tool by the drug company, and yet this academic puts his name on it as if he's the author.
He has had no part in the study, and also he probably hasn't even read the study results, but he is prepared to receive $10,000, $20,000 to put his name at the front of the research, which gives it added authority.
Il est si commun de faire rédiger des articles par d'autres en son nom que même le psychiatre qui dirige le département d'évaluation des psychotropes de la FDA signe de tels articles.
The average physician picks that up and reads it. He believes it. And it's not a mystery that he would believe it. It seems reasonable that it's in black and white, it's in a good journal, it's in the New England Journal of Medicine, it must be true.
Ces revues sont souvent envoyées gratuitement aux psychiatres et aux médecins sous le couvert de recherche médicale authentique. Mais pourquoi ces revues sont-elles gratuites? Parce que la publicité pour les psychotropes rapporte des sommes énormes à ceux qui les publient.
So if you go through a medical journal, you'll see page after page of advertising for bipolar disorder and treatment of using medications, or advertisings for depression and treatment of using medications, schizophrenia. So it's really everywhere.
I remember just a couple of years ago, the first time I opened the journal from the American Psychological Association called the APA Monitor, and there was a multi-page ad, high gloss, very expensive, for Concerta, which is time-release Ritalin. I resigned from the American Psychological Association. I wasn't going to be part of this whatsoever.
It's very hard when your major source of income is advertising and advertising placement to write an article that's negative about a particular drug and expect that company to continue to buy ads in your medical journal. So that's a major issue.
Mais les psychiatres leaders d'opinion ne se contentent pas de remplir les revues médicales d'articles rédigés par d'autres et de les signer. Ils font aussi de la propagande pour les psychotropes durant des conférences de formation médicale continue.
Physicians and nurse practitioners and physicians assistants are mandated to take a certain amount of continuing education credits every year. Well, 70% of all continuing medical education is now funded by the pharmaceutical industry.
That seminar is going to be taught by a professional who is employed by the pharmaceutical company. The very nature of where someone is giving you your support means you are biased to that person's side.
Many physicians and many psychiatrists who attend medical conferences don't know that when they go to that conference meeting that's about antidepressants, antipsychotics, and it's generally an academic psychiatrist who's speaking, they don't realize that person's probably making about $10,000 for that 1-hour speech.
Mais vous n'avez pas besoin d'être un professeur en psychiatrie pour avoir une part du gâteau. Les psychiatres qui prescrivent de nombreux psychotropes sont généreusement récompensés par les représentants pharmaceutiques pour les ventes qu'ils génèrent.
Psychiatrists, especially high prescribers, are targeted and gifted extensively by the industry. Now that gifting is where you need to get specific.
That was not unusual during our marketing conversations to say, well, what's our top drug writer? You know, who's the doctor that's prescribing the most of this drug? Well, you know, let's send them to the Kentucky Derby.
We offered trips on some occasions to come out and hear a 2-hour talk, but it happened to be on a nice island in Hawaii.
There were a lot of things that we did day in and day out to try to get the doctors to write our drugs, or in my case, to write for the psychiatric drugs. We did a lot of lunches and dinners, and we brought in speakers, and those speakers were obviously paid by us, and we would wave, you know, renowned studies at them from renowned journals. But of course, we would never say that these studies were paid for by our company, and that it was written by a ghostwriter who was paid by our company, or that our company tends to do a ton of advertising within that particular medical journal. We would never say that.
Avec plus de 300 millions d'ordonnances de psychotropes, les plus gros prescripteurs sont d'autant plus grassement récompensés lorsqu'ils ouvrent de nouveaux marchés. Les primes qu'ils reçoivent des firmes pharmaceutiques sont jusqu'à 25% supérieures à celles des autres spécialités médicales, soit en moyenne dans un État américain plus de 45 000 $ par an pour un psychiatre renommé.
Psychiatrists get more kickback from the pharmaceutical companies than any other branch of medicine.
The profession of psychiatry couldn't keep its journals afloat, couldn't keep its conferences afloat, couldn't keep its organizations afloat without money from drug companies. The drug companies really have psychiatry in their pocket.
This is a profession whose diagnoses have been heavily influenced by people who are heavily influenced by the pharmaceutical industry, and whose treatments are almost exclusively these days pharmaceuticals. We should be able to count on them. I do not believe that we can.
En raison de la publicité constante faite par les psychiatres, les psychotropes sont prescrits non seulement en psychiatrie, mais ils s'infiltrent aussi dans tout le milieu médical. Mais ce battage présente une autre facette, bien plus lucrative pour les psychiatres. Et cela vous concerne, vous, directement.